And now, champion of the world, Joshua the Fearless Man!
26 seconds. That's how long it took Joshua Van to do what an entire division couldn't do for 6 years. And here's the part nobody talks about, that 26 seconds was 10 fights in the making. Fights nobody thought he'd win. This is the full story. So, who is this guy? Because honestly, if you weren't paying attention in 2023, you could be forgiven for missing him completely. Joshua Van was born in Hakka, Chin State, Myanmar, in 2001. A country torn apart by military conflict. His family left when he was 10, moving to Malaysia. Then, at 12, he landed in Houston, Texas. At the same age most kids are beginning to find themselves, this kid was starting over in a new country, again. And then it got harder. His dad passed away in 2017. A teenager, in a new country, and now he's the man of the house. He still lives with his mom today. That's not a fun fact. That's the engine behind everything you're about to see. So in order to feed his family, and honor his grandma's word, he turns pro in 2021. He starts his career on the Texas regional scene, where he fights 8 times in just 1 year. He goes 7-1 and goes on to win the UFC Flyweight title. Not bad, but regional flyweights don't become UFC champions. That almost never happens. In June 2023, the UFC had a problem. A fight fell through and they needed a body. A warm body, ranked nowhere, on about a week's notice. That body was Joshua Van. Ranked 33rd, 0 push, and that's where his story actually starts. His UFC debut, June 24, 2023, Jacksonville, Florida, 9 days notice. He wins a split decision, and to be honest, most people wrote it off. A scrappy debut against a guy on his way out. Fine, but watch the pattern. November 2023, UFC 295 at Madison Square Garden, the biggest card of the year. He wins again. January 2024, he gets his first finish in the UFC, TKO in the second round. 3 fights, 3 wins, still ranked nowhere near the top 15. Still nobody picking him for anything. And here's where you think the story keeps going up. Right? It doesn't. July 13, 2024, Denver. Charles Johnson knocks him out in the 3rd round. 20 seconds into round 3, it's over. Lights out. First loss in the UFC, and the brutal kind. The kind that makes people say, yeah, that's what everyone thought. The regional kid just isn't built for this level. And this is the part of the story that actually matters, because a lot of fighters never come back from that. A loss like that is where careers quietly die. He's 10-2, unranked, and the division just saw him get slapped. So what did Joshua Van do? He didn't disappear. He went on the most underrated run in the flyweight division, and he did it fighting nothing but monsters. Edgar Chairez. For Joshua Van, this win was crucial. The question was simple: did he truly belong in the UFC, or had the hype pushed him beyond his level? Cody Durden was Van's biggest test yet, a seasoned veteran with top 15 experience and elite wrestling. Van needed this win to prove he could compete with the UFC's best and climb the flyweight rankings. Ray Tsuruya was undefeated and expected to use his elite wrestling and grappling to take Van's ranking. But this was a huge win for Van, proving his wrestling defense, grappling and pressure was already at a championship level. Van had now picked up 3 impressive wins over dangerous opposition. The belief was that Joshua Van was ready to make a run at the top, but no one expected him to get there this soon. Now, this is where Van's run goes from this guy has potential to damn. Just 21 days later, on June 28, 2025, Manel Kape pulls out, and with just 3 weeks' notice, the UFC calls on the newly minted number 11 ranked Joshua Van to face Brandon Royval, the former title challenger and number 1 contender. A nightmare matchup, with barely any time to prepare. Yet Van's fanbase showed just how much they believed in him, backing him as the favorite going into the fight. Instead, they delivered the 2025 Fight of the Year. 419 significant strikes, the most ever in a 3-round UFC fight. Van won the decision, and that was the night the division realized this kid wasn't just surviving anymore. He was the problem. Real quick, if you're enjoying this and you want fight breakdowns, predictions, and betting angles like this every single week, subscribe to Just Facts Combat and ring the bell. It genuinely helps the channel, and we're only just getting to the good part. December 6, 2025, UFC 323, Las Vegas, Alexandre Pantoja vs Joshua Van for the Flyweight title. 26 seconds. Van catches a kick attempt, Pantoja falls awkwardly, and just like that, the champion's arm gives out. It's over. TKO. And it's not the finish anyone drew up. It's awkward. A little controversial. Even Van admitted it wasn't the Hollywood ending. But here's why the story still lands. He didn't fluke his way to that cage. 10 fights to get there. A knockout loss he had to come back from. A top contender he beat on 3 weeks' notice. And when the moment came, he was the one standing. At 24, he became the second youngest champion in UFC history. Only John Jones was younger. The first ever fighter born in the 2000s to win a belt. The first Burmese champion in UFC history. And the first champion born in a country the promotion barely knew how to find on a map. Oh, and since then, he defended the belt against Tatsuro Taira, the biggest threat in the division, in another fight of the night. The fluke just keeps proving people wrong. So, now what? The rematch. September 19, 2026, UFC 331. Pantoja is coming back, and this time there's no injury excuse. No, it ended weird. Pantoja wants his belt back. Van wants to prove the first one wasn't an accident. That stare down at the press conference was heat, and this fight is going to be violent. And that's the story. From 33rd on the roster, to champion of the world. 10 fights. Every step earned. I'll be breaking down Van vs Pantoja 2 in detail before fight night. Who wins, how, and where the betting value actually is. So hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And tell me in the comments, does Pantoja get his revenge, or does Van prove he's the real deal? I read every comment. I'll see you in the next one.